Start the trickster game. Are you ready?
You'll never see it coming, except when it's exactly the same as the game before it.
Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight.
Hail fellows, I'm SerDuncan, and welcome to the King's Bench, a new little video series I'm starting where I take a game, movie, or television show I've recently finished and give my thoughts on it. The Court of the King's Bench was a medieval courtroom, essentially, where criminal cases were tried in the presence of the King of England. I'm, sorta going for a fantasy, medieval sort of vibe. Yeah, to hell with it. It's cringy, I'm cringy, we're all a bunch of crooked-nosed knaves. Let's just move on with the review. Today's criminal up for interrogation, or... yeah, it's Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight. You've seen the beginning of the video, and the title, and everything else surrounding it. Now you might be asking, but Duncan, but my lord, what about Persona 3 Dancing in Moonlight? Well, here's the deal. As the financially intelligent, fiscally responsible young man that I am, I purchased the dual pack containing both dancing games and the OG Persona 4 Dancing All Night for $100. Was it worth it? The jury is still out on that bad boy. Get it? Jury? The problem is, despite my love of Persona 5 and my relatively newfound dive into the Persona fandom, boy, is it hot in here? I haven't beaten Persona 3 or 4. Now, hold on, hold your horses. To be fair, I haven't beaten any of the other Persona games either, or any Shin Megami Tensei. Okay, fine. I was a filthy bandwagoner, but now you know. I don't want to get more in-depth than I already have, but those games are on my list. After all this build-up, I'm sure you're very excited to hear my thoughts on the game. And, well, here they are. The first thing that struck me when playing this game were the changes from Persona 4 Dancing All Night. Unlike in that game, Persona 5 doesn't have an involved story mode. Dancing All Night has a story mode that acts as an odd sort of sequel to the main game and features new characters, interesting interactions, and a compelling, if not slightly ridiculous reason to be dancing at all. Dancing in Starlight takes the cop-out, though, and weaves a paper-thin story of contests and dreams, and characters being able to dance just because they think they can. This ain't Thomas the Tank Engine. It's not very good. Instead of a linear storyline, characters have random conversations when certain conditions are met, and some of these, well, honestly boring and unnecessary conversations advance the, heavy air quotes, plot. While I don't necessarily think a rhythm game should have a plot, it feels like a slap in the face. Persona is all about plot and fun character interactions, and both these elements feel forced here. Moving past that, the menus themselves evoke that Persona 5 feel, even if they feel a little uninspired. One of my favorite parts of Persona 5 is the incredible graphic design, and this game feels like it's piggybacking rather than innovating. Dancing All Night had a unique flair all to its own while incorporating Persona 4 gold and yellow tones and flashy visuals. This game seems to fall short of the mark. I'll give a brief rundown of how the game plays, but it's honestly pretty simple, and I might do a more in-depth review if I ever do Persona 4 Dancing All Night, since that game basically pioneered the exact same system that this game uses. There are 6 buttons that you have to press in response to music notes, the right 3 being triangle, square, and X, and the left 3 being the up, left, and down directional buttons. As notes overlap the on-screen indicators, the player presses a button, resulting in a perfect, great, or good rating based on your timing. Or a miss if you miss. The notes themselves come in 4 types. Normal notes, slide notes, where the button must be depressed for the duration of the note, double notes, where 2 notes must be pressed at the same time, and note notes, where 2 notes are pressed in quick succession and note the note. There's one more type of note or gameplay mechanic to talk about: the scratch. It's a record scratch, I guess, that is performed by flicking either the stick or by the ingenious new method of quickly dragging your finger across the touchpad on the PS4 controller. Honestly, I like this new method a lot, and it's a shame that we never could have played it on the original system, the PS Vita, since that system seems to be a lot better for this type of control scheme. The record scratch is, in my opinion, the hardest part of this game, because it requires that sort of reactive, quick thinking I'm just terrible at. Persona 5 soundtrack is incredible, and Dancing in Starlight only adds to that with classics, a couple of top-notch remixes, and one or two really fun original songs. There's something about the Persona games that seems to draw in quality soundtracks. Lin, an artist from Japan, does many of the tracks, including some of my personal favorites, so I've got to applaud her on that front. There's 25 tracks, not including downloadable content, which is quite a lot, honestly. There's 2 for each character, one with the whole gang, one male only, one female only, and a handful of extras. So why does it feel like a few? Persona 4 Dancing All Night only had 2 more at 27, and Persona 3 Dancing in Moonlight also has 25. Maybe I was just spoiled by the 70-plus songs in Theatrhythm Final Fantasy to the 221 songs in Theatrhythm Curtain Call. Perhaps it's just me, but with a huge library of songs in the Personaverse, it feels like we got only a small fraction of that goodness here. Speaking of that one Final Fantasy rhythm game, it's hard for me not to make comparisons. While elements of the games are vastly different, I can't help but feel that Dancing in Starlight pales in comparison. The amount of songs, the variety of levels, specifically 3 different types, way more characters, albeit avatar dudes, but each one has special skills and levels up. Imagine if this game leveled up the characters, or maybe even had some sort of persona system. But again, that's a lot of harping, so it's back to the positives. Despite sort of looking like they just pulled assets straight from Persona 5, this game is gorgeous. The environments are great and full of life, the character models are fluid, the dancing styles are so cool and unique to each character, it's radical, dog. There's tons of accessories to unlock, and costumes to make your dancers look hecka fly. My favorite combo is to give all the girls the sexiest costumes, put them with the boys in the full-on dance number, and Tanaka masks. Gloriously horrifying. That's my ideal dance group, I think. In-game or in real life. Speaking of unlocking accessories and costumes, that brings me to another positive: the modifiers. By achieving specific goals, you can unlock positive and negative modifiers for the songs that have a variety of effects, ranging from notes that wobble or fade, or something good, like extending fever time, or allowing notes to be hit with any button. I know I had the impossible to fail scratches one on from as soon as I unlocked it. These allow the gameplay to get varied and change up, increasing or decreasing difficulty. The effects on your score makes it a trade-off. On one hand, you can hit the notes, on the other, your score plummets. It's a fun mechanic, to be sure. That's pretty much it, really, apart from the downloadable content. But this video is dragging as it is. I'll get back to it maybe if I do a Persona 3 review. So what is my final verdict on the game? My judgment from on high. The King's Court's final decision. On a scale of 0 to 10, where 10 is impossibly perfect, and 0 is impossibly bad, and 5 is perfectly average, I'd give Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight a 6 out of 10. The game is fun. It's an enjoyable rhythm game. The gameplay works, even if it is a bit bland. The visuals are pretty and the music is great. However, the overall content is sadly lacking. It spoils the plot of Persona 5, so you have to play an over 100-hour game before you can play this one, although I would highly recommend you do so. And it doesn't offer too much once beaten, per se. It's a shame because when I went into this game, I was hoping that I'd have something to sort of while away a few hours on every so often, or maybe just get on once a night or once every few nights. Maybe even play it somehow with a friend. Unfortunately, once you've played each song once, unless you're the type of person who likes to grind away at games, you won't find much enjoyment here. All that said, it is a great purchase if you're a Persona fan. Maybe just wait a bit for the price to drop to a more reasonable level. $40, $30 perhaps. $60 is just too much for this game, especially when Persona 3 Dancing in Moonlight is practically a carbon copy. Honestly, if they'd given Persona 5 and Persona 3 together, that would be a $60 game. You'd have a little less than 50 songs to choose from, plus all the DLC, which, by the way, would cost about $100 extra if you get all of it for Persona 3 Dancing in Moonlight and Persona 5 Dancing in Starlight. So it's a little bit too pricey for me. If the entire package, the 3-in-1 package, was priced at $80, I think then it would be worth it. But, as I said, this game is a 6 out of 10. If you enjoyed this review, I hope you decide to go and pick it up. That's it for this session. Court is now adjourned. Did you have fun with this video? If so, please a like if you enjoyed and subscribe. I'm just starting out, so I don't have all the assets I want yet, but please feel free to give advice, tips, or suggestions in the comments below. Videos like this will go up Saturday nights, maybe once a week or perhaps every 2 weeks. And be sure to tune in Monday the 7th of January for the start of a Persona 3 Let's Play with my friend Emily. Thank you very much for watching. I've been SerDuncan, and I hope to see you in my next video.